And a very warm welcome back. We're about an hour away from our first look at the Freestyle Junior event here for 2020. Pete Allen, Ray Ahmed were with us in the studio. Pete, you got some details about this VFS changes?
Yeah, so at the plenary session last week in Moscow, there were some clarifications on the VFS. And this is a really good time to bring it up because Block 16, Chimmy, is going to be in round 8. And so, yeah, Ray, we're looking here at a clarification of when the orientation change can happen.
Exactly. So I think the idea is, and this is what most teams are already flying, is that orientation change has to happen in the inter before the grip is picked up for the close.
Yeah, so the inter is that we need to see the inter before the orientation change, which is basically how most teams would see it, but it wasn't clarified up until this year. And so the word changing has happened, and that makes things much clearer for the VFS teams.
That's true.
And this is still quite a new event, and I talked a little bit about the history of VFS yesterday. My buddy Jason Russell over in the States, he was giving me a little bit of a heads up on it. I went through how VFS came about. One element I did miss out was that there was a belly team at the last round at the US Nationals. They flew it head down.
Really?
And that was the very first vertical relative work in competition that was done. And that was kind of the beginning of some of the VFS. We can hear our tune playing in the background. Does that mean, Regan, that the VFS is coming soon?
It certainly does, my friend. We are getting on to the last bit of the VFS for today, Pete. We're going to save the final 2 rounds for tomorrow, is that right?
Absolutely, yes. Thanks for pointing that out, Regan. So we're seeing 6, 7, and 8 today, and then rounds 9 and 10, the semis and the finals. And now we have Team Windoor getting ready for round 8, which is 10, 16 and 22 with that orientation change that we said in block 16.
Yeah, so we're seeing it's a mixed anthem, Chimmy and Core Buddies, so triple blocker, and that's a close of the mixed anthem.
There's that orientation change done directly after the break, and then very, very quick block 22. I mean, that is so quick you can barely see it.
Yeah.
So there's the 16 with the orientation shift for the outsides, super quick block. Got to make that clear to the judges as well.
Let's close the block 22.
So quite a nice round, I think, for people to watch from the outside. Very clear. We've got the mixed anthem, always kind of very similar to the accordions and things like that, you know, flying or block 13 as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Just kind of very obvious to see.
This whole these 3 blocks have generally got breaks in the middle and a pair of flyers flying, so it gets confusing for me to watch which block they're actually on, to be fair. So
also, though, the memory side of this jump, Ray, that doesn't come into play. You know, there's no slot switches on this round, so some of the confusion that we saw from the younger teams coming up may be a little bit easier, although the orientation change is going to be the thing that slows them down.
And so it's a less experienced team coming in now. This is Singularity. We're going to have a look to see how they deal with this dive. Getting ready.
And go. Clock has started. So 10.
Go close of block 10.
16.
Go see
There's
that
the
change.
shift.
Yeah.
Nicely executed. And then the very fast block 22. Just got to make sure that it's clean there. Got to make sure the judges see the right grip at the right time. Okay, so watching round 8, which is going to be the last round of VFS that we see this morning here at the Wing Games. And we're watching currently Singularity going through 10, 16, and 22. Doing a nice job of it, Ray, from my all intents.
Yeah, they really are. And, you know, they're definitely growing in confidence with every round that they're actually doing. And it's really good to see.
I think take the memory out, and this team is looking good. As soon as the memory starts, this team are really struggling. Fortunately, that's out of time.
Just as we said that.
Yeah, that is out of time, though, so no worries there.
Lindley looks really happy there. Smiles from Hannah. So next in we have Alpha Project.
Yep, Alpha Project. How did they do on their last round? Do we have any scores up from?
And they scored 11 on that round.
So they scored the same as Singularity on that last round. I'm thinking they're going to be pretty happy with that. New team here. This is kind of their first outing on the world stage. Very brave of teams to come to the Wing Games. You'll know that, Ray, as well.
Oh, yes, very brave indeed.
All right, so let's see how Alpha Project are doing. I miscalled them on one round yesterday, pointed out by my friend Jason last night as I went home. Thanks for all the information, Jason. Really appreciating it.
This team, I was judging these guys live, judging in airspace actually.
Okay.
They were flying there.
And are you seeing an improvement
Yeah,
from
I definitely
airspace?
am seeing
Nice
an
to hear.
improvement. And you know, they're really, I think they're locking it down a little bit more. They're flying more as a team. You know, that's always that thing with VFS and weight distribution. And
Yep.
you know, they have one female flyer on this team, and they were struggling to find that level that they needed to fly at. But I think they found it. Definitely finding it now in this competition.
Yeah. So we're not going to look at any kind of world record scores on this round. The block 22, very fast, probably one of the fastest blocks in the VFS pool. Block 10 and 16, 360 moves. You know, you're not going to make those that fast. And it's not a flower, you know. You got that head up orientation, which is going to slow things down.
Yeah.
Team Icaro Speed getting ready for round 8, their last round of VFS this morning here at the Wing Games.
Yeah, so Team Icaro Speed and Singularity, there's only 2 points between them at the moment for that fourth and
Exciting
fifth place.
stuff. I mean, battling it out.
And just a little bit of hesitation there, but no, there we go.
So interestingly enough, the Italian teams are not battling each other.
No, that's
They are battling different teams. You know, you've got top battle between Esercito and Full Speed, and then these guys with Singularity. A little bit of a struggle there on the 16, is that right?
Yeah, I think it's because it's a mix.
Sorry, on the
the mix. Sorry,
the 10.
The 10.
Yeah, 22, and then back into the 10. There we go, the 10. That was a bit of an issue on the previous page, bit of collision there.
And that's because you're turning a piece 360 degrees with one head up, one head down flyer. So if there's not the right communication, it's not turning.
Doesn't seem very easy to me at all. That looks like quite a challenging block. We say that, but now as we look at the top 3 teams, we're going to maybe see a slightly different. I mean, Windoor may have a little bit of a struggle with those blocks, but Full Speed and Esercito, we're looking for them to blast through these rounds.
And I think Esercito will be trying to claw back some points here. So let's see what Full Speed do.
Okay, so engineering should be pretty straightforward. There we go, the 10, 16, hardly a gap in
22.
proceedings. The 22 is so fast, guys. You have to watch it to even recognize that it's a block. There we go. Here's the
Just a
22.
grip.
Boom, boom. That's it. It takes as long to say as it does to do.
Exactly.
We're saying about how randoms can slow things down and blocks can speed things up. The blocks in VFS can be faster than the randoms, especially without an orientation change.
Can indeed.
Interesting enough, a bus in the middle there of that 22. Let's see if the judges see anything or if they're happy with
You
it.
managed to see a bus in the middle of the 22. Well done.
Hopefully it wasn't. I'm hoping for Full Speed it wasn't, but let's see what the judges have to say about
This
it.
is like a really good round from Full Speed. I mean, straight off the net, they were pretty strong.
I mean, they had a bit of a wake-up call yesterday, and similar to Hayabusa, they're having to deliver, they're having to put some speed back into it, but keep the precision as well, because they had the speed yesterday, they lacked the discipline, and they were busting like crazy. Things looking a little bit tidier for them today.
I really do feel, I really want Esercito to do well and fight back. One of my favourite VFS teams of the time at the moment.
So Esercito were telling me how honoured they are to compete against the Full Speed lineup. These guys, they were looked up to Full Speed. That's one of the reasons why you see Esercito competing, is watching those guys at World Championships doing so well.
Yeah.
So little bit of mutual appreciation there. Oh, a little bit of a rock on the 10 there.
Yeah, and they had an earlier glitch as well. So I think
22, super fast for every team.
it's not the slowest of rounds, but it's a pretty fast round.
If you do it well.
Yeah, and we're seeing that here.
Okay, so the 10 is looking like it's a bit of an issue for some teams. Just having that collision factor on the outside. Wonder if there's any technique stuff that people can work on to make it even better, maybe keeping things smaller, etc.
Yeah, I think, Full Speed definitely looked a little bit fast on that round.
They did. They looked faster and maybe clean. Let's see what the judges say.
We're not going to go there.
All right, so we're moving through the action. Remember, 5 to 11, we're going to start with the freestyle. We've got some results for you guys. Let's have a look.
Okay, so, that's an interesting, just 1 point in it between NFTO and Niftis Wimby on that last round. We think that NFTO did a really good job on that with the short 19. I
With their engineering, absolutely. Niftis Wimby taking a little bit more interesting.
Yeah, a little bit more interesting, but not only 1 point in it. So
yeah.
It's very interesting. And here we have seeing some of the scores coming up for the FS Open as well.
Yeah, you don't get to see the full leaderboard right now. As the scores are coming in, they're way faster than normal, but we're seeing some nice scores from the FS Opens. 25 there for Out of the Blue. Looking back at the girls now, Vosvind, 14. They had a disaster of a round. But as you say, they left with smiles.
Yeah.
Right now, though, in the corner of my eye, I can see Vosvind getting ready for the next round. So really excited to see them.
Yeah, well, hopefully they'll bring it back for this final round of the day for them.
Thank you very much, guys. We'll be back in 1 minute after this.